so far? I just want to take about two responses. How has it been for you? How has it been for you so far? You can unmute and speak up.
Really means that I think I can be a laid back person. So having, because now I have a goal and I want to, be active, and also it has made me become more intentional about things that I want to do, not just saying them, but actually, working on them and actually moving and standing up, because you have so many plans, but so many ideas, so many things you want to do, but so far this program has pushed me to put things in motion so far in less than 2 weeks.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful. In less than 2 weeks, somebody is making progress. I hope everyone on this program is also making progress. I'm so happy for you, and we are here and we'll hold your hand through the entire process. Okay, one more person. I think you have spoken for. Let me take you as a representative for the doctors. I want to hear from the students. Can we have one student speak? How has this program impacted you so far? Just unmute and speak.
Good evening, Ma. Good
Good
evening, Dr.
evening.
Sarah.
Good evening.
Um, my name is Faithful. I'm a
Favor.
parallel medical. Faithful.
Faithful. All right.
Yes, I'm a parallel medical student. For me, I would say that there is this responsibility, actually, being held accountable for meeting times and all that. Sometimes we cannot really be monitored. It's easy to follow, but it
Mm,
has helped me to be very intentional, and not just with this, but I'm trying to apply it to other things as well.
that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Being held accountable, knowing that I must show up for this book review. If I am not in this book review, I stand the risk of being kicked out of the group. It's not everybody that is here now. Not everyone that was at the initial meeting is here today because of poor performance, because they were not participating. But I salute everyone that is on this call tonight because you have put in your best by showing up and responding to all assignments and all of that. And I'm so happy for you. And tonight we are going to take this mentorship session a notch higher. Okay, we are going beyond our book reviews. We want to see how we can move forward, how we can look ahead, look into the future, and see how can I get to this thing that I desire. I have this rough idea in my head. We have students here, we have doctors here, but we have this idea. Oh, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a cardiologist, I want to become a world renowned this and that. But a lot of times we don't know how to get there. And that's why we are talking this evening about purposeful progress, goal setting, and career mapping for young female doctors. I am Dr. Sarah once again. All right, so what is purpose? Purpose is something that answers the question why, because it says why something exists. It is the reason why something was created. And every single person on earth was created to do something. Everyone was created for a particular purpose. Okay. So when we come to the awareness of ourselves as humans, we start asking, what am I here to do? Why am I on earth? Why did I even choose this medicine? I'm sure many of us, probably when we were in medical school or while we are even at our residency, or the medical students here, they can say that at one time or the other, they've questioned their choices. Why did I feel MBBS in my jam form? You know, we all get to ask that question, why? But um, today we are going to be talking a lot more about this. All right. And then what is progress? Progress means moving forward. Yeah. So it's just a forward movement towards a destination. Okay. So you can't say there is progress when you intend to go to Calabar, but you are facing Abuja. Like now, I'm in Ogbomoso. If I'm going to Calabar, I should take, okay, don't let me use Calabar. If I'm going to Abuja, all right, I can go through Ilorin and all of that. But if I decide to go through Lagos, uh I don't know, it's like I'm going backward. That's not progress. Of course, I'm moving forward in a particular direction, but it's not in the direction of my actual destination. So tonight we want to talk about how to make progress in the right direction, in the direction of purpose, in the direction where we can say, this is the reason why I am doing what I am doing. All right. Now, in order to make progress, we must identify certain obstacles that can stand in our way and how we can overcome them. Okay, what are some of the common obstacles that we face as female physicians? To a lady doctor, she can face the challenge of identity crisis, asking, I don't even know who I am. If somebody doesn't know who she is, she won't be able to she won't become everything she was created to be. She won't become everything that she has the capacity to become. A lot of times we get overwhelmed, most likely by workload, by our hormones, and all of that. So these are real issues. Imposter syndrome, we feel like, am I the one that is really doing all of this? I hope, is this really me? And then we have societal pressures, the people who are married, people are, the society is putting pressure. When are you going to have your kid? But in your mind, you want to have kids after you have passed a particular exam. You're not ready to start having kids now, but the society is putting pressure on you. Oh, you've been married for a year, you've been married for 2 years. Society is trying to dictate for you. Or they're saying, you're now a doctor. Now that you have graduated, you're now a doctor. When are we meeting the man? And you're like, which man? There's no man in the picture. So we want to make progress in the direction of purpose. But how can we do this? That means we must see correctly. And that's why we'll talk about vision. What is vision? Vision is the ability to see the end of a goal. I hope I'm not moving too fast.
No, ma, you're not.
All right. So, what is vision? Vision is the ability to see the end of a goal. Okay? There is something that is in your mind. There is something that you are seeing, not with your physical eyes, but you're seeing with an inner eye. You can picture it that, as for the medical students now, on the day of my induction, you have that mental picture you have created. All right. That is the end of a goal. Okay. After you filled your jam form, you have that picture in mind that, one day I will become a medical doctor. Okay, that's vision for a particular time. All right, you are seeing the end of the 4 MBs you're going to write, and you're saying, I'm going to become a medical doctor one day. That is vision. Okay, now we see, um when we allow our minds to, when we free our minds, there is no limit to what we can see. We are the ones that can limit ourselves. So a lot of times people limit what, they limit the capacity of what they are able to conceive, what their mind is able to conceive. But tonight, as we speak on, we'll be able to break down these barriers, and we'll be able to see correctly. Now, what is a goal? Vision is the ability to see the end of a goal. So now, what is a goal? A goal is the end point of a plan or activity. All right. A goal is the end plan, or is the end point of a plan or activity. So, on a football pitch, all right, the vision of a team is victory. Oh, that we are going to win the match. That is their vision. Okay, they are going to go home with the cup. all right? But they have to score goals in order to fulfill their vision. I hope my example makes sense. When a team is on the field playing, they have a vision that they will go home with the cup, all right? They will become victorious, they will win the cup, and they will celebrate. That's their vision. But in order to achieve that, in order to make that vision a reality, they need to score goals. All right? They need to kick the ball into the net. Okay? So that is a goal. Now, what is mission? Mission are the activities you do in order to achieve a goal. I'll take that again. Your mission is the activity you do in order to achieve your goal. So, the mission of a team on the football pitch is to kick the ball around in such a way that it will enter the net of their opponent. All right. So, in life, as female doctors, we are on the pitch trying to kick our ball around, aiming for the goalpost so that we can achieve our vision. All right. So, talking more about vision, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Have you ever thought about it? Oh, in the next 10 years, where will I be? In the next 10 years, what will I be doing? In the next 10 years, will I be practicing this medicine? In the next 10 years, what exactly will my life turn out to be? Vision. We must be able to see beyond the now. The reason why it is important for us to talk about vision tonight is because um, our goals we won't set the right goals if we cannot see correctly. So we must be able to see correctly. Oh, how do I want to graduate from medical school? I want to graduate with distinctions. So how will I carry myself? How will I set my goals in order to align with my vision? So a man's goals must align with his vision. Okay. Or how do I become a cardiologist? I must set goals from now so that when I achieve these goals, it will take me to the realization of my vision. Okay. So I want us to do a quick activity. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Um, if you can write it in the chat box, I will be glad. All right. Just put it in the chat box. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? In about 3 to 5 minutes, let's take responses. Just type it. Oh, I see myself in Canada. I see myself in the UK. I see myself, all of us on this call are in Nigeria. At least the people on the mentorship program. I know some people are not in Nigeria, but those on the mentorship program, you're all in Nigeria. So if you're seeing yourself in Canada, wherever, just write it. Just write it wherever you are. If you are not seeing yourself anywhere, if you are not seeing anything, write it. Okay. I'm waiting to see our responses though. Ah, if we're not writing, I see myself as a medical doctor, good. I see myself as a big business mogul, good. This person does not want to practice medicine. Okay, that's really nice. I hope the business has medicine in it. I see myself finished with my residency program, preparing to leave for abroad. Yeah. I see myself, sorry, I need to turn this off so I can see. I see myself as a specialist consultant in my field. I see myself practicing as a medical doctor and doing residency. Beautiful. I see myself championing preventive medicine. All right. So beautiful goals right there. Beautiful goals. So you've told me where you see yourself, right? Sorry, let me get this back to slide share. Okay, so number two is, what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? I think most of you have already said what you see yourself doing in the next 5 years. Now, this third point I wrote is very, very important. The day a man stops seeing is the day he dies. This does not mean like dying, like no breath in his nostrils again, but it just means that the day a man stops seeing what the future holds. The day a man stops seeing, he loses his sense of conviction. He will lose his why. He will lose his reason for living. And when there is no reason to live, then that person will lose hope. Okay? And when there is no hope again, I mean, what's there to live for? So that's the death I am talking about here. Now, okay, we are all ladies. Imagine if you're in a relationship with someone, and then the guy comes and says, Tinuke, sorry to anybody bearing Tinuke here, it's just a random name. Tinuke, where do you see us in the next 5 years? And Tinuke says, yeah, I don't see us together. Oh. You know, that's the end of that relationship, yeah? If you're in any relationship with someone, okay, and you cannot see your future together, you cannot see that, oh, we are raising kids together, we got married, we are doing this and that, then that's the end of that relationship, because guess what? That relationship is not going anywhere, okay? But the relationship will head somewhere if you can say, oh, in fact, I've seen beyond 5 years. I can see that in the next 20 years, we'll be doing this and that, okay? And then that will fuel your energy to, it will ginger you to do more and to make progress in that relationship. It will ginger you to work on the faults that are on the challenges you have, so that you can get to your goal post. All right, so how do we set goals? Now, I'm sure many of us are familiar with the SMART framework. That's the specifics. Ensure that your goal is specific, measurable, attainable, okay, relevant and time bound. That's the regular one. But in EIM, we don't do the SMART framework. We use the smarter framework. Now, the smarter framework was developed by Michael Hyatt, and that's what we do in EIM. Now, there is a modification to it by our founder, Dr. Jummy, and we have found it to be very, very effective. Okay, so a goal must be specific. All right, we'll still discuss more on this. A goal must be specific. That's number one. Number two, your goal must be measurable. Number three, your goal must be actionable. So instead of the attainable that the SMART framework uses, we use actionable. What are my do's? What are my don'ts? All right. We've already attained, we're already doctors, okay? We've attained something. In fact, being a female and being a doctor is something you have, is an achievement. You've achieved something, you have attained something. All right. So we are not doing that. We are doing, what should I do? What should I not do? That's our action. It should be actionable. Okay. Risky. Your goals have to be risky. If it is not risky, you are not doing a goal yet. All right. Then your goal must be time bound, it must be exciting, and it must be relevant. I'll take that again: must be specific, measurable, actionable, risky, time bound, exciting, and relevant. So every goal you set must have these 7 properties. Okay, so what do we mean when we say a goal must be specific? It means that your goal must be very clear. You must not use any ambiguous term. You must not use any vague language to describe whatever you are saying you want to achieve. Your goal has to be very clear. Um, Permit me to use a scriptural reference, Habakkuk chapter 2. Okay, the prophet said, I will stand on my watch to hear what he will say to me. And then God started speaking, and he said, you see, write the vision down, make it plain, okay? For it is yet for an appointed time. Now, you see, that making it plain means let it be very specific, so that whoever sees it can run with it. All right. So your goal has to be specific. And I gave an example here. using weight loss as a goal. You can, I'm sure somebody on this call, I am very sure, because you always have people like that. You say at the beginning of the year, in fact, ending of the year, that was, let's say December 2024, you said, I want to lose weight in year 2025. Guess who has not lost 1 kg but has added 5? You. Why? Because your goal was not specific. You just said, I want to lose weight. It's not enough to say you want to lose weight. It's not enough to say, I want to become a medical doctor. Yes, it's a goal when you're in medical school, all right? But there is more, okay? We need to see beyond the immediate. We need to see beyond the short term and see further, all right? So I want to lose weight is not a goal. It is not specific, all right? But how can we make that specific? By saying, I want to lose 10 kg. Now that goal is specific. All right. So right now, I want you to identify one goal. Everybody on this call should do this assignment right now, because I will go into the chat box and read out the responses. Um, Identify a non-specific goal you set this year. Okay, particularly the ones you, definitely, I'm sure you've not achieved any of those non-specific goals. So identify any non-specific goal you set this year and make it specific. So you can write non-specific goal, I want to read every day. Specific goal, I want to read 3 hours every day, or something like that. So I'll go to the chat box now to read your responses. I'll be in the chat box reading your responses now. Okay. Oh, very good. I want to say my prayers every morning before picking my phone. All right. So, non-specific goal is I want to say my prayers, or you can say I want to say my prayers every morning. Morning time, you have between 12 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. Okay. So, when exactly, but saying I want to say my prayers every morning before picking my phone. Yeah, that's specific. Very good. I think that's from Chisom. All right. I want to stop drinking soda, non-specific. Okay. I want to stop drinking soda, non-specific. Which particular soda are you talking about? I'm sure you have a particular one that you always drink. Okay. So make it specific. That one that you can't do without. I know a lot of people are addicted to Coke. I want to improve my earning habits, okay? I want to actually start preparing for my exams this year. Non-specific. I want to read 3 hours daily to prepare for my exams. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. So this person has moved from a vague goal to a specific goal. All right. I want to stop drinking Coca-Cola. Beautiful. Now you have made it more specific. So, in fact, I love the fact that you said Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola has a wide range of products. Okay, so you want to stop drinking everything altogether. That's beautiful. See me clapping for you. I want to stop eating junks. Okay. I want to grow my expertise in my career. More specific, I want to commit to 1 to 2 hours of reading daily to build my knowledge base. Thumbs up. I want to get a freelancing job in content writing to upgrade my finances. Okay, I think, is this person continuing from a previous thought? I want to improve my earning habit, non-specific. And then making it specific, I want to get a freelancing job, okay? You can even make this more specific by saying the name of the company, okay? Listing a company or two. Um, I think Upwork, and I don't know, there are some other freelancing companies where you can get a gig. All right. So you can add the name of a company to make that more specific. Okay, so let's go back to our slide. Um, I'm trying to get this back. Sorry, I've messed up the orientation of my phone. Okay, good. I'm back now. So, yes, we should make our goals specific. So, we've done our little activity to make our goal specific. Now, your goal must be measurable. Now, your goal being measurable should answer the question of how much, how many, what percentage, okay? So if you say, I want to lose I want to lose weight. Now, part of making it specific, you have said the measurement of the weight. You have said the kgs you want to lose. All right. So I put another example here. I want to read a book. That's not specific and is also non-measurable. But you can say, I want to read one chapter of Atomic Habits daily. Now you are specific about the book you are reading, and you have stated how much of the book you are going to read. Okay, so this particular goal is now specific and measurable. Okay, so we can do that for our goals. Then the next thing, actionable. You see, this one, it's a very big deal. When we are talking about actionable goals, it means that you know what you don't want to do first before you even know what to do. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and maybe you're on holidays or you're on leave for those who are working, and then you're like, I don't even know what am I going to do today. Um, a trick to not wasting your time that day is to identify the things you don't want to do first. Because if you don't say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, guess who will end up doing what they don't want to do? You. All right. So the best thing is for our goals, we should identify what are the things I must not do in order to achieve my goals, and what are the things I must do in order to achieve my goals. Now, I've also realized that a lot of times when we are talking about goals, we get overwhelmed easily by the number of things we need to do, the number of things we must do, okay? But one of the ways to make it easier is identifying what we must not do. I don't know if you're following. All right. So you must be able to say, these are the things I must not do. I must not scroll social media mindlessly. If I'm going to check something, I must focus on what I am going to check, because this happens a lot. You just pick up your phone, you just want to check a post, or you want to confirm something. Oh, have they posted something on Excellent Lady Doc today? The affirmations, I want to say it. And before you know it, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, you're just scrolling. You're scrolling on your feed. All right. Sometimes some people will even go to explore. Abi, what's the name of that page? I think it's explore now. Or YouTube shorts, YouTube reels, and then we start scrolling and laughing, giggling. And before you know it, 1 hour is gone. 1 hour that we can use to achieve other important things that will lead us to achieving our goal. So we must be able to say, I'm not supposed to do this, okay? So this is what I don't want to do. Part of what you don't want to do is wasting time. Now, what are the common ways in which people waste time? I've mentioned one which is very common, mindless scrolling on social media. Number two, not being able to say no, okay? Lack of boundaries. A lot of us lady dogs don't have boundaries when it comes to the issue of our time. We can't say, when somebody is going to, maybe somebody is going to cafeteria now, I'm just like, how are you? How are you, Tolu? Okay, I'm going to so place. Yeah, now let's be going together. I mean, that's lack of respect for your time. We must be able to say, I must not do this. So when you set boundaries, you put things in place and say, these are the things I must not do. Now, when you write out the list of things you must not do, you will realize that those are the things that have been preventing you from achieving your goals. Okay, so let's go back to weight loss as a goal. All right. So to lose 10 kg of weight, I must avoid processed foods and refined sugars. All right. I must avoid eating, all those junk food, donuts, cakes. Some people will just buy cakes and all of that. I'm a baker. I do all of those. I make those things, but I don't encourage it that somebody should just be buying cake all the time and just be eating, eating, eating. No, no. There should be days when you say, oh, no, I'm not buying today. All right. So to lose 10 kg of weight, I must avoid processed foods and refined sugar. That's what I must not do. And we realize that cutting down on sugar, cutting down on high carbohydrate diet. I'm not saying you cut down on carbohydrate, you cut it out. You won't cut it out of your diet, but you will reduce it, okay, significantly. Now, cutting down on high carbohydrate diet and refined sugars and all of those things, even if you don't exercise, even if you don't do any other thing, you will realize that your weight will actually drop. It might not get where you want it to get, but you will notice changes. All right. So identifying what you must not do will help you make progress. Okay. But then now to what to do. To lose 10 kg of weight, I must exercise at least 3 times weekly and eat healthy meals. Okay. So that's what I must do in order to lose 10 kg of weight. Okay, so to read a chapter of Atomic Habits daily, I must avoid mindless scrolling of social media, okay, and then needless gists and gossip and all of that. Okay, to read a chapter of Atomic Habits daily, I must create 1 hour time to read. So you just say, okay, before bedtime, my bedtime is 9 p.m. That means between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. every day, I'll carry Atomic Habits, my book, and I'll read. All right, so that's how to make your goals actionable. Now to the risky goals. A good goal will stretch you. If it does not push you, it will bore you. All right. If your goal does not push you, if your goal does not take you out of your comfort zone, then that goal will bore you. And before you know it, you will stop doing it. You stop pursuing that goal. So your goals must scare you. I hope we know that it is enough risk. It is a risk that we filled MBBS in our JAM form and we are doctors today. Basically, spent how many years in school? 7 years, 6 years, 8 years. I don't know how many years it took you from your school, but that's a risk on its own. You could have done accounting and finished school in 4 years. You could have done economics, and be in bank or something, earning bigger salary than doctors, really. But you feel that jam form was a risk on its own. And then we still take risks on our patients. They come to us. Patients coming to us is a risk because they trust you with their entire lives. The patient comes and then they trust you with their lives. They trust you that you are going to take the right decision for them. If people you don't know can trust you so much to put their life in your hands, literally, how much more trusting yourself to take a risk and say, well, instead of just being a regular doctor, I'm going to be more than the regular doctor. So your goals have to be risky. Your goals have to be risky. It must make you uncomfortable. you must take a risk on your own life. You are taking a risk on other people. You're trying different things, hoping that it will work. Somebody's blood pressure is high. You've administered, you must have seen such situations before where you administer a medication, but it seems like the BP is not coming down, and then you add another medication, it's still not coming down. You're still not achieving your desired control. You're taking a risk for them, okay? How much more would you take a risk for your life? So, as lady doctors, we should take a risk with our goals. Yeah, that thing may sound big, may sound impossible, but guess what? Take the risk, do it, give it a try, and then you will surprise yourself. All right. And then your goal must be time bound. There must be time attached to your goals in order to give it a sense of importance and urgency. Okay. One of the things that make football match very interesting is the time limit, because no matter how long they kick the ball around, you know that the time will end. And every player on the field wants to get the ball into the net. Okay. So it makes goal scoring very important and urgent too. I'm sure you've seen matches where in the first 5-10 minutes somebody has scored. Yes, because it is very important. That player is consumed by their vision. We want to go home with the cup. We want to become victorious at the end of the day. Therefore, I must ensure this ball gets into the net. And from the beginning of the match, they start aiming for the net. All right. So our goals must make us time conscious. Okay, we must know that in the next 4 months, I must do this and that. And then this thing I need to achieve in the next 4 months, that's the end of it. So that is a goal. It gives it a sense of importance and urgency. So using weight loss again, I want to lose 10 kg of weight in 4 months. Is it possible? Well, you're also taking a risk. Can I do it? I know I can lose 10 kg, but can I do it in 4 months? Is it possible? All right. So, yeah, we can do that. So, that's putting time on it. And then that time factor has also added a risk in the case of this example. Okay. So, putting the time frame makes you see an end in view. And then you know that, okay, this thing is definitely going to come to an end. So it should excite you. Oh, and then we move on to exciting. So your goals should excite you. It must excite you. Yeah, becoming a medical doctor for the students should excite you. Becoming a nephrologist for those in residents, becoming a pediatrician should excite you. Like, yay, on that day when I become a fellow and blah, 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 when I finally relocate, it should excite you. But will the process necessarily excite you? No, it may not. All right. In fact, it's oftentimes not as exciting in the process, because on some days you feel overwhelmed. Okay. You feel like, oh, this residency is stressful and all of that. But does that take away the joy you are looking forward to achieve, of having in the future? No. All right. So your goals must excite you. So losing 10 kg of weight will improve my overall looks and health. So when you think about that, you should feel something. You should feel happy. You should feel excited that, wow, I'm going to fit into that size 10 dress I bought. Maybe you're currently a size 14 and you bought a size 10 dress with the hope that in the next 4 months, you're going to fit into that dress. Okay. So looking at that dress every morning while you are eating your vegetables and drinking a lot of water, yeah, the process may be painful. Like, I can't eat the shawarma I desire. I can't take the ice cream I really want right now. But I know that after 4 months, I will fit into this dress and I will be happy I made the sacrifice. So your goal must excite you. And then the last but not the least, your goal must be relevant. Okay, a goal can be good but inappropriate for your current stage and season of life or career. Okay, so a goal can be good, and I put one here. Having a baby is a good goal, all right? But having a baby out of marriage during residency, when there is no support, that is not a good goal. That goal is not relevant to you. In fact, that goal will frustrate you, will derail you. Okay. So your goal has to be relevant. Okay. So that you can achieve what you envision. So, what are our EIM pillars? Now, when we talk about goal setting, you want to apply this smarter framework. You want to apply it to setting goals in these areas of your life. Okay. So we have spiritual goals. Somebody said, I want to say my prayers every morning before picking up my phone. Okay. So that falls under spiritual. Personal. Now, for me, I expanded personal. Okay, so you have spiritual, personal goals, professional goals, career goals, financial goals. Somebody said, I want to increase my earning capacity by gaining a freelance job, So, yeah, financial, that's the financial goal. Relationship goals. Oh, I desire to get married. Maybe the person is already in a relationship. I desire to tie the knot in December year 2025. That is a goal, all right? But then you need to now apply the rest of the smarter framework in order to achieve that. In your health, okay, health goals. We've used weights as an example, so you can apply that there. Okay, so now for me, I broke down personal into different aspects. Okay, um, I broke it down into mindfulness. Okay. I want to be mindful of the things I'm doing. Um, Fashion. All right. Self-improvement. I want to learn something new. I want to learn to do my makeup. I want to learn driving. I want to learn public speaking. That falls under personal. Fashion goals. I want to improve my wardrobe. I want to improve how I carry myself. Okay. So under fashion, you can say, oh, I'm going to do one thing for myself every month. Oh, this month I'm going to buy a pair of earrings. Next month I'll buy a pair of shoes. Another month I'll buy a dress. And before you know it, you're already changing something about you. Okay. Relationship. Now, relationship, you can break it into your social relationships and your family. Okay. Now, when it comes to family, you can also break it down into immediate family and extended family. Now, the reason why I'm using this breaking down is so that you can see things clearly. It will not be vague. Okay. So somebody can say, oh, I want to improve my relationship with my family. Guess what? You have a nuclear family and you have an extended family. Okay. If you are married, your immediate family, what's your plan for them? Oh, you want to improve communication with your spouse, or you want to become a better parent to your child. In fact, that's another area where you can set goals. Parenting. Oh, I want to spend more time with my son. I want to spend more time with my kids. All right. That's another area. So when you break things down this way, it makes your goals more specific. All right. And you are likely to achieve them better than just leaving it vague that I want to improve my relationship with my family. All right. So, how do we crush our goals? All right. We're already coming to we are drawing very close to the end of this webinar already. So how do we crush our goals? We use Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 rule. And it says that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. So I can say it this way. If you have 10 things that you want to do, there are two things that are very important out of those 10. That when you are able to achieve those two things, when you're able to do those two things on that to-do list of 10, you realize that you were able to do the remaining 80. Okay. So the Pareto principle is a concept that suggests that 2 out of 10 items on any general to-do list will turn out to be worth more than 8 put together. Okay, that's what I already explained. Okay, most people procrastinate on the top 10 to 20% of items that are most valuable or important. And when they procrastinate on the 20% that is most important, and realize that most of the other things are not achieved. Okay, so to succeed in life, we must live on principles. We must not just live on randomness. Okay, and this is a good principle to live by. So if you have 5 things you want to do in a day, look at that list and say, what is the one thing I must do? Just one. If there is only one thing I must do out of these 5, what is that one thing? Once you are able to identify that one, you realize that the remaining 4 things will be done. Okay. And that's, I just did half of it. So if you write down 10 things, 10 random things you want to do, I want to brush my hair, I want to comb my hair, I want to brush my teeth, I want to iron my clothes. I will just write 10 random things and tell yourself, what is that 2 things I must do today? By the time you identify those 2 things, if you do those 2 things, you realize that you were able to do the others. Okay, so we are going to do an activity right now, and I want everyone to participate. Okay, so because I've been talking since, so it's now time for you to talk. Write down 10 things you want to do. I'll give you about 3 minutes right now. Write down the 10 things you want to do. Write down 10 things you want to do. You can say 10 things I want to do before the week runs out, 10 things I want to do before the month ends, 10 things I want to do before year 2025 comes to an end, and then identify 2 things that you are most important to you. So I'll give us some time to do that. When you are done, just say I'm done, so that um so I'm waiting in the group, trying to read your responses. Make a list of 10 things that you want to do. You can say 10 things you want to do before the end of 2025, 10 things you want to do before the end of the month of May, 10 things you want to do before this week ends. So once you identify those 10 things, now look at that list critically and say, what are 2 things I must do? If you are done, you can raise up your hand. If you are done, you can just raise your hand using the I think there's an emoji for that or something. Let me check. You can signify in the comments, are you done? I'll just take 2 people to volunteer to say, because you have to be vulnerable here. Okay, that's the only way we'll know that we are making progress with what you are doing. All right, so I'll need 2 volunteers, 1 volunteer from the students, 1 volunteer from the doctors. Wow, spent almost an hour. Actually, goal setting takes time, because we want to engage as much as possible. Spent almost an hour. Wow. Okay, just see how we can wrap this up quickly and do much more. So a volunteer from the students should unmute and tell us about the 10 things they wrote and 2 things that are very important to them. And then a representative from the doctors 10 things. This is from Dr. Chisom, Dr. Olufemi. 10 things I want to do before the week runs out. Cook at least 2 soups before the weekend, do laundry, prepare for my call, start studying, speak to my siblings, make an appointment with my neurologist. Okay, good. So, okay, but this is not to 10, Sha. 1, 2, 3, 6. So we have 6. So can you identify 2 things you must do out of these 6? Identify 2 things you must do. Just let that be the follow-up message. 2 things you must do. Dr. Chisom, we're waiting for
Sorry,
you. Okay.
okay, so number 3 and number 8
Number
I
3.
must do before the end of the week. And number 8.
Okay. Number 2 and number 3 and number 8. Make an appointment with your
Yes.
neurologist, okay? And then, yeah. So you realize that in order to make this appointment, like for you to get there, see your neurologist, you must have done most of these things. And then cooking your soup, preparing for your call. Cooking soup is in line with preparing for call, isn't it? So that you will have food.
No.
It's
Yes,
not.
okay, yes.
And yes, now, so that you will have food and you won't bother to cook. Abby?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you look at your list very well, you will realize that I'm still waiting for one more person. All right. So whenever you look at your list, identify 2 things you must do. By the time you identify those 2 things, there's no way you will do those 2 that somehow you won't get to do the rest. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Chisom, for sharing your list with us. We are waiting for one more person. Okay, who's this? This is Dr. Bumi. Reach out to friends, make a schedule for my side also, get back to daily Bible study, start a sleep. Another response moved it. Okay, that is if schedule and stick to it. Clean the whole house this weekend. Read at least 4 chapters from Atomic Habits. I love this energy. Okay, so Dr. Bumi, what are your most important things? The 2 most important for you on this list?
On this list, the 2 most important is my Bible study, getting back to daily Bible study that I used to do, and the atomic habit, because I'm trying to build a reading habit. So those,
Very
in fact,
good.
those 2 are more on the reading, because those are the 2 of my
Now, can I
sorry,
tell you that
Tony.
if you're able to do this daily Bible study and atomic habits, you will do the rest. How did I know? Because sticking to your routine on Bible or your Bible reading, you're building consistency. You're trying to be consistent, okay? And while you are reading your atomic habits, uh, of course, we started learning how to build new habits and all of that. While you are doing all of that, and you realize that you want to do something that is not in line with your goals, something will hit your head and say, this is not what you're supposed to do. Do you get? And then you will end up doing every other thing on your list. So, yeah, thank you very much. That's beautiful. Okay, and then somebody else posted. Then let's take Dr. Teslima. Okay, Dr. Teslima. I want to add weight. Beautiful. It's so good to see somebody that wants to add weight. Some of us are trying to lose it. Okay, I want to add weight. Especially 48 kg. Wait, I don't understand. You want to add 48 kg or you want to become 48? Dr. Teslima, please clarify that. Do you want to
Yes,
make it
sir.
38
Oh,
or
no,
you
I
want to
want to
add 40?
become 48.
Oh, you want to become 48. Okay. I
Yes,
want
ma'am.
to improve my finances at the end of the year. Okay. I want to grow my business. I want to improve on my. So identify 2 improve on my style. Beautiful. I want to make active plans on writing my USMLE. Very good. So what two things are most important for you on this list? I can't think of 10. Very it's okay. It's not a problem. So what two things are most important for you here?
Particularly my business and writing my USMLE.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for being vulnerable with us. Uh okay, more people have posted. Okay, I think I have to stop now so that we can move fast. All right, but thank you all for sharing. Um, let's get back to the slide. So, how to achieve your goals? One of the ways you can achieve your goals is by using roadmaps. Okay. Now, in EIM, what we do often is quarterly goal setting. So, before the new year, we have this goal setting retreat where we, of course, we divide the year into quarters. Each quarter has 3 months in it. So, you say in Q1, that's quarter one. In Q1, I want to do so. In Q2, I want to do this. In Q3, I want to do that. In Q4, I'm going to do that. That way, it makes your goals to be in bite size so that you are able to achieve them. You can say, oh, you so instead of crowding, how do I put it now? Instead of saying I want to do this without any specific end in the year, you can say I'm going to learn driving in Q1. I'm going to learn to do my makeup in Q2. I'm going to take a public speaking class in Q3. I'm going to, so these are personal goals, on self-development, right? I'm going to, what other thing now? In Q4. Well, just fill that in. So when you set it that way, it makes it easier. So in Q1, between January 1 to 31st of March, you must learn how to drive. From the 1st of April to the 30th of June, you must learn to do your makeup. Okay, so that's how to simplify it. Just break it down that way. It will make it easier to achieve your goals. Then using timelines and deadlines. Okay, I'm going to write my plab at so time. I'm going to write my primaries at so time. Okay, for the medical students, you have dates set for you by the school, all right, when you are going to write your EOP. So you already have a deadline. You must finish your P1 before that EOP. You must finish your notes before that EOP. So that's a deadline. So you can also make use of that. Timelines and deadlines. Okay, now these are some of the some productivity hacks. Consistency. We must learn to be consistent, and that's one thing. I think that's one thing this mentoring program has done so far. Even for me, it has helped me to be consistent. I'm currently in a season where um I want to cut down on use of social media, being on my phone. I don't want to do other things. But when Dr. Jimmy brought this up, I was like, I'm going to do this. I was like, okay. And then means I have to be on WhatsApp, responding to messages in good time and all of that. But despite the fact that I have been on social media, I've been doing something productive. I have not been scrolling mindlessly. And then, I have to read the book. Everybody is reading it. I have to read the book as well. So it's helping me to grow consistency. So every day I've told myself I have to read at least a chapter. I have to do this. I have to do that in order to meet up with my goals. All right. So for everyone, I'm glad that this program is particularly helping in the areas of consistency. I've seen responses. People want to pray more, they want to read their Bibles, they want to study every day, they want to be consistent in, creating healthy habits and all of that, which is good. I salute every one of you for the efforts you're putting in. Okay. Accountability. That's another thing that this mentorship is also giving. All right. Accountability. When you're not going to be available, or You talk to your rep, Dr. B, I won't be available for review tonight, I'm on call. Permit me to send my summaries after my call. You're learning to be accountable. You're not just disappearing. You're not just going MIA um on us. All right. And then affirmations. Okay, in our first meeting on boarding, we talked about the spec doctor, right? That um we are smart, we are passionate, we are we are confident, we are kind. That's what spec is, and that we should say it over and over. Of course, it's not only spec. You can say to yourself every day, I am smart, I am kind, I'm intelligent, I know what to do, I take the right decision for my patients. Say positive things to yourself, and then keep saying it, even saying it under your breath while you're wearing your mask. Keep mumbling those words to yourself. Even when a consultant is yabbing you on the word and saying you don't have any stuff, you are telling yourself, affirming yourself that I know all things, I can do all things, and you're just talking to yourself that way. It will help to boost your confidence, okay? And then when you are confident, you are able to do more. You'll be able to think better, think clearly, and do more, okay? And then we have the three C's. We have clarity, competence, and concentration. So when you are clear about the things you are doing, that's part of what this goal setting is going to do for us. Okay, when we are clear about what we are doing, you'll be able to focus better, and you have better outputs. So um we are drawing very close to the end. So SWOT analysis, all right? What is SWOT? SWOT is just simply your strength, your weakness, the opportunities that come your way, and the threats. So we must be able to do an analysis of our strengths. You must be able to answer these questions. What am I doing well? What is it that I know how to do well? Oh, I know how to set line for patients. I'm very good at it. Yes, write it down. Blah blah blah. Just write it. Okay. What sets you apart? Okay. Yeah, I know how to set lines, but I'm particularly good with neonatal lines. Okay, write that down. That's your strength. Okay, it is going to lead you somewhere. So analyze your strengths. All right, what are your good qualities? Okay, oh, I know how to communicate with parents. I know how to communicate with patients. Okay, what are your weaknesses? I've discovered that when I, just identify all those things. Write down your strengths, write down your weaknesses, okay, areas where you need to improve, areas where you have inadequate resources. All right, write those things down, identify them. And then your opportunities. What are your goals? Those are areas where you have opportunities. Oh, I want to do this, I want to become that. That's an opportunity for you, an opportunity to become better, an opportunity to improve on yourself. Okay, areas where there are shifting demands. Oh, in the hospital, maybe you had 7 senior registrars before in the department, but five of them have japa, and then you've not yet written your part one exam, but um your consultants see that you have the capacity to, so they can move you up and start taking SR calls. I think that happened to me. I think about over a year before I wrote my exams. Were short on senior registrars, and then they moved me to start taking SR calls, and that was a big opportunity for me because it pushed me. And then during calls in the night, they would just call me, oh, so we have the surgery and blah blah blah, and I would just have to get on to do those things. So I saw that as an opportunity to improve on my skills, my surgical skills in particular, and all of that. So what are those areas where there are shifting demands? Can you take advantage of those things? Okay, areas where you also need to improve. Okay, and then what are your threats? What are the blockers you are facing? Okay, what are the factors that are beyond your control that will not let you achieve your goal? I know a common threat, very, very common, very popular. It is fear. Fear is a big threat to anybody achieving anything in life. Okay, so If you don't know any threats when you are doing your SWOT analysis, I'm sure fear is there, lack of courage. Oh, you want to launch that website, but you're second guessing yourself. All right. So that in itself is a threat. Okay. So briefly, let us move on to career mapping. So it is a strategic process that outlines the potential paths and the steps needed to for you to advance in medicine. Okay, so it is a particular process that you take in order to outline the potential paths. You say, oh, I want to become a cardiologist. So what are the different pathways for me to become a cardiologist? How do I get to that end goal? Now you have a vision, you're seeing it. Oh, I want to start practicing, but how do I get there? Yes, you have goals, but don't forget that those goals, they have an end point. One particular goal will not take you to cardiology automatically. It means that you have a good number of goals, a good number of hurdles to cross, okay, in order for you to get there. So how do you now plan everything? Now, in order for you to become a cardiologist, let's say you're a medical student, you have to pass your first MB, you have to pass your second, your third, your fourth, and then you have your MBBS. Good. Then you go for house job, housemanship, and then you go for NYSC. From NYSC, you write your primaries, or you decide, no, I don't want to do my residency in Nigeria. I want to travel out. Good and fine. So, what's your plan? You want to take your IELTS, you want to write your USMLE, whatever that is. That is how you will get to your goal. So that's how you map it out and say, okay, this and this is what I want to do, but these are the steps that will take me to that end goal. All right. So it involves your self-assessment. You want to so I can say this self-assessment, you can use the SWOT analysis for that. You can say, okay, what are my strengths really, what are my weaknesses at the moment? Okay, assess yourself. Where are you currently? Oh, I have passed my primaries, but I'm yet to get my residency placement into the institution of my choice. Okay, that is where you are now. All right, and then goal setting, that's why we've talked about goal setting. Then you start setting your goals. Okay, when I start residency, I will do this and that. These are the things that will help me to come out as an excellent cardiologist at the end of the day. Exploration of pathways. Okay, do I want to do my residency in Nigeria, or I want to travel out? If I want to travel out, how can I make the journey very smooth and fast? I realize that medical students these days, they are into research because they want to go to the US and they need papers and all of those things. Very good. So, yeah, what are those pathways? What are those things you need to start doing now that can make your journey easier and faster? Okay. And then, yeah, do a skill gap analysis. What are the skills I have right now that are assets to me? Okay. What are those ones that I need that I don't have? How can I factor it into what I want to do? Maybe you want to um what now, what now. Maybe there's something you want to do and there is a course you can maybe want to go into health management and all of that, but you know absolutely nothing about health management. You can take a course on health management, a certification course, get your certificate, improve on your skills, and then gradually you're building your profile, your portfolio for what you want at the end of the day. And last but not the least, action planning. Okay, now that you have written down all of these things, then how do you plan it? You can plan these things in you can use years to plan it. We are going to the next slide will tell us more. Okay, so career mapping gives a sense of direction, it brings clarity, and it brings motivation for career growth. So when you know that, oh, this is where I am going, and this is the road to where I am going, you will be motivated. You are clear about what you want to do. So even when other people are bringing their own suggestions, it won't bother you so much. I remember when I was doing in fact, for med school, in my school, we do family medicine as a posting and we write it as an MB. So we had this early exposure to family medicine and I loved it because of the way family medicine was practiced in my school. I schooled in Bowen, okay, and I'm also a resident here now. I saw it and I was like, wow, I want to have this. I love what I am seeing. I want to treat patients like this. I don't want to treat patients the way the special apology. Well, I'm not sorry, but yeah, that's it. It is what it is. Most specialists don't really care about their patients. They just see them as cases and they don't really care so much about them. But I saw that in family medicine, they looked beyond the patient's condition and they would address everything about the patient. So beyond the headache, you are taking, we all know these things. You're taking care of the other social reasons, the psychological reasons, why the patient might be having headache, because that might just be the real issue. So I saw that and I was like, whoa, I love this. Well, I'm actually interested in taking care of older people, but I don't want to do it like the internists, because the internists will just come, write investigations, and then no show. But for the family physician, they care so much and also care about the caregivers. So those were some of the things that motivated me. And then I said, well, once I'm done with my house job at NYSC, I'm going to come back here to do my residency in family medicine. Okay, so I took a bold step on the day of our induction dinner, and I spoke to the then director of training for family medicine, late Dr. Mrs. Adeniro, and I told her that I want to come back. And she said, oh, our arms are wide open. Sure, you have a slot here, you have a place here, you're welcome anytime. And then I went for a house job. So when my seniors, the registrars, the senior registrars, they're asking me, so how far? What do you want to do? So what areas are you looking into for residency? Where do you want to do it? And all of them. I told them, oh, I'm interested in care of the elderly, blah, blah, blah. They were like, oh, that means you should travel abroad. We don't have it in Nigeria. And I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do family medicine first in Nigeria. This is what I want to do. This is the pathway I want. You know, to it was strange to a lot of them because they felt like this small girl that she's so sure of what she wants to do. She just knows she wants to do this and she's not even budging. Like a lot of them tried to convince me to write plab and all of that. I said no, I'm coming back here. I know why I am coming. That is what career mapping can do for you. When you have an idea of what you want to do, it makes it gives you focus. Okay, you are not distracted even when everybody is saying japa this, japa that. You know that this is what I want to do first. If japa now comes into plan, yeah, fine. Okay, and then another thing about career mapping, um it's good that it is done early. It will help give clarity. Okay, it's good if it is done early. All right, so our assignment. So we have come to the end of this session. And this is the assignment we have. This is our take home. You have to draw a career roadmap for the next 10 years using this guide. So you should identify your current roles and your background, state your long-term career goals clearly, write down the skills you already have, write down the areas you need to improve or grow in, and then have a timeline. So using all of these things is like I've given you the list of ingredients you need to cook your jollof rice now. Okay, I want you to cook jollof rice for me. I've given you your rice, your tomato paste. I've given you your salt, your spices, everything you need. So now cook your 10-year career roadmap. So this is where we draw the curtains for tonight's presentation. I hope you had a great time and gained something um, like I did. All right. So, and then this is my last slide, my thank you slide. I have 4 pictures here, but the 4 pictures tell a story. So the first picture here is a medical student. Well, not a medical student anymore, but at this point, this was our final year week picture. I was excited. Oh, I'm going to become, I'm a doctor, blah, blah, blah. We took our final year pictures and, I was so excited about what the future holds and all of that. Of course, I had an idea of where I was going, but I didn't know how to get there. And then I started my NYSC. Uh, NYSC was not looking like it, you know. I was very, very broke in NYSC because I was posted to a place where they were not going to pay me and all of that. And I actually hustled to get into a police clinic. And then at the police clinic, they said they were going to pay me at the end of the entire year. So I would just, and at that time, coppers were earning 19.8. So imagine I was earning 19.8 as a doctor. The state was not paying us as doctors. It was not paying anybody. That was Kwara State, by the way. So I was just a doctor here in the clinic. So I took this picture in the clinic. But during that time, I started my baking business. And that was when I started baking. I would bake. That day I just said, oh, I took baking classes during my NYSC, and that same period I started the business. So I just baked cake and took it to the clinic. Oh, people should taste it. And then they tasted it. I was like, this is very nice. So you can be selling the cake in the clinic now. Just they had a small show glass, a small display, call it show glass display in the clinic where people could just easily get their snacks and all of that. So I started that way. And then before I knew it, I started taking cupcakes to CDS, and I started selling. I wanted to sell it at 100 naira, but they were not willing to buy. They felt that my cupcake was worth 50 naira. So I said, okay, I found ways around it. Started selling my cakes for 50 naira. I'm sure you can't get cake for 50 naira anymore. Okay, so I started selling my cakes 50 naira, and the business started growing. Along the line, I got an order from Ogbomoso. I was in Ilorin at the time. I got an order from Ogbomoso, and then I was like, okay, I'll do it. I was still a doctor, doing my 9 to 5 or 9 to 4 every day. But then I would wake up, I'll go to market, do shopping, go home after my clinical activities, get to the house, bake bake all night, go to clinic in the morning, deliver cakes to clients. And that's how I started my business. And I started growing my clientele base in Ogbomoso, knowing that I was coming back to this town. Okay, so I started like that, and I met amazing people while doing this. And I'm glad to say that the business has done very well in the last 6 years thereabouts. Yes, about 6 years. So from 2019 till now, yes, that's about 6 years. Business has done very well up until now. We make about 6 figures monthly, and doing amazing, amazing, amazing. Of course, I've been modifying things along the line. There were times when I felt like giving up, but I did not. I did not, because Dr. Jummy was on my neck. She was like, Sarah, you will not stop that business. And if you were at Gawim and you stayed till the end, I'm sure you tasted the cake. So yeah, that was my cake. And then I became a resident doctor. Okay, a resident doctor in the institution I desired. And yeah, this was me in action. And then here I am today, um, taking this session, all thanks to Dr. Jimmy, who has helped me move from that resident that did not know how she was going to achieve her goals to someone that has a good idea of where she is going and how she's going to get there. So I just shared my personal story briefly to encourage someone that even though you're a medical student today, or you are currently serving, or you are doing your house job, or you're a resident, or you're about to start residency, and it looks like you don't even know how you're going to figure it out, um, yeah, the future is bright for you. Some of us have been there, and we are still on our journey. Of course, we are not exactly where we want to be, but we are on our way to where we want to be. All right. Thank you, everyone. I would love to take feedbacks now. I'll take feedbacks from you. Kindly, okay, let me stop my screen sharing. So let's take feedbacks now. So what stood out for you and all of that? something that stood out for you, how you're going to make use of this going forward. Okay. Thank you for sharing your inspiring journey. Thank you, Dr. Toby. Goal setting is very important. I want someone to unmute too. We participate in EIM, okay? So goal setting is very important. Thank you, Dr. Ufoma. Thank you so much. Let me tell you guys, Dr. Ufoma is one of those people that bought my cakes when I started business. And thank you. Thank you. All of you, all the people who bought my cake. And then I think Dr. Blessing is also on this call. In fact, Dr. Blessing got me my first big cake order. Yeah. So I appreciate everyone on this call. I appreciate your support. I love you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Dr. Sarah. Yes, thank you. I appreciate the thanks, but feedbacks. Did this meet your expectations? Do you have any questions? Somebody should unmute or unmute, put on your video. Let's see your face and hear your voice.
Good evening, everybody.
Who is speaking? Let's see your
Okay,
face.
Dr. Blessing is speaking. I don't know if I can show my face.
Okay, so this is the Dr. Blessing that bought my cake and she got me a lot of orders. Thank you, Dr. Blessing. All right.
Uh, Let me see.